Welcome, and thanks for coming out today. I want to start out in a good way and acknowledge we're gathered on treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas and Chippewas of the Anishinaabe, covered by the Williams Treaties. I'm Chris Borgia, your NDP candidate for Durham, here with Sarah LaBelle and Christine Santos, friends from building and construction trades, IVW, UA, carpenters. We're all excited about a chance to reach out, connect with folks across Durham region, because people in Durham region are with Andrea because she's with us. At the doorsteps, I'm hearing excitement about Andrea. People tell me she shares their priorities, and they know because they are the same before, during, and after the elections. Andrea says what she means, goes to bat for folks, works to make lives better. We're all proud to stand here with her. In 26 days, here's the next Premier of Ontario, Andrea Horwath.
Thanks very much, Chris, our fantastic candidate for the Durham riding. I'm thrilled to be here with all of the candidates and with all of these great working folks to talk about how we can make sure that grandparents and parents that want their kids and grandkids to have a safe and clean future can do that while saving some money and fighting the climate crisis. This is all about making sure that not only do we fight the climate change that we have in front of us, but that also we're making sure that people can have a more affordable life. So we've put together, the NDP has put together a great plan. It is actually the most expansive retrofit plan that we've ever seen in this province. And it's something that will not only create a lot of great jobs, but will save money on the hydro bills. The plan includes about $5.2 billion in extra economic activity. It is going to allow people to have grants, so upfront grants of up to $11,000 to implement retrofits to your homes. And if you have retrofits or changes that will be energy saving that are over and above that $11,000, we will also provide interest-free loans to cover off the remainder of that cost. It's really clear that the bills are getting higher and higher, and the best way to start to get those bills down is to make sure you're not consuming as much energy, and this retrofit plan does exactly that. Kids deserve to know that we're going to be handing them a world that's livable. Parents and grandparents know that that's their responsibility. It's all of our responsibility. And that's why I'm so proud today to talk about this plan that not only helps people with the bills, but helps save our planet. So on that note, there's other details probably that I could talk about, but really what we're here to say is this time around, instead of a premier that works for his buddies, you can have a premier that works for you. I'll take any questions that folks might have.
We'll ask journalists to line up at the mic, and it'll be one question, one follow-up.
Oops.
First question comes from Adina Ali from the Canadian Press.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, I can see you in there.
So Wendy, okay, so my first question is, so it looks like in order to lower people's hydro bills, you're offering financial help with reducing their energy consumption instead of going the straight subsidy route of previous governments. So why choose this approach?
It's because we know that the bills are high and people need to have a way to not only get those bills down, but then also do the responsible thing around the environment. You know, every time I talk to a young person these days, the climate crisis is top of mind. Young people are very, very worried about the climate crisis, and so parents and grandparents are hearing that as well. This way, instead of a simple rebate, what we're doing is saying you can be part of the change that fights the climate crisis. You can make those changes, but not get stuck with the tab.
And are you promising any sort of target of how much it will reduce people's bills by?
Well, what we know is, for example, some of the retrofits with the heating, particularly with different types of heating systems, bills could go down as much as 61%. We do have details. We can certainly provide them for you, but there's just no doubt about the fact that the cheapest energy is the energy that you're not consuming in the first place, and so that's what this is also about.
One more, or
So we'll move to questions on Zoom next. First question comes from Wyatt Sharp from The Wyatt Sharp Show.
Hi, good morning, Andrea.
Hi, Wyatt.
So you're in Bowmanville today. The PC leader, Doug Ford, was in Bowmanville yesterday, I believe, as well. I guess how important are areas like Bowmanville going to be to you in the upcoming election? Because obviously it shows that it's going to be a fairly competitive riding if, two of the major party leaders were in the same place one day following the other. And then furthermore, I guess, why do you ultimately believe now is the time that Durham will go NDP, and how do you make sure as a leader that it does? Because obviously the actual riding of Durham, as far as I can tell, hasn't ever went NDP. It did back when it was, Durham East, Durham West, and Durham Center. There was a few MPPs in the legislature, but I guess just speak a little bit about how you plan to, win over ridings like Durham that, haven't traditionally been NDP ridings.
Well, thanks very much for the questions. I think I just need to point to our fantastic candidate who is really rooted in this community. He's lived here for some time. He has worked here. He has volunteered here. He's a fantastic candidate. So that's why I'm excited to stand by him today, by Chris today. But the other thing is, we came second last time in this riding. This time, we're going to come first and send Chris Borgia to Queen's Park as the MPP for the Durham region.
And as it relates to your actual announcement here today with, utility bills and trying to reduce Ontario's emissions through lowering the cost of, utility bills, obviously a large part of that would, obviously the cost of gas is going up in many parts of Ontario. I guess just how do you lower the cost of gas? Does your announcement today, do you think, address those concerns? And, do you think the answer is lowering the cost of gas, or do you think it's, moving towards electric vehicles?
Well, there's a lot in that question, Wyatt, and I think you've touched on some pretty important issues. One of the things I didn't mention is that this plan for this expansive retrofit plan will also create 100,000 jobs, because that's the other thing we need. We need good jobs that pay the bills, and that's why our friends are here as well, to really signal how important these kinds of initiatives are to working people. On the gas prices at the pumps, here we are, the start of a beautiful sunny weekend, and up go the gas prices. This happens very, very often, as we all know, and it's got to stop. So that's why we have a plan to regulate gas prices at the pumps. I can tell you who's making a lot of money right now on the gas prices, and that's the big oil companies. I don't think that it's appropriate to have more money in their pocket. I think it's appropriate to have more money in your pocket, and that's why we're going to regulate gas prices at the pumps.
Next question comes from Charlie Pinkerton from Queen's Park Briefing.
Hey, Andrea.
Hey, Charlie.
Your first debate with Doug Ford is coming up within a few days. He's been rather shielded so far during the campaign. He hasn't done as many media events as yourself or Mr. Del Duca. With this first opportunity to debate Doug Ford, what are you going to be going at him about?
Thanks for the question, Charlie. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Mr. Ford chose not to attend the two debates that were community-based that we've already had. One was the women's debate, and one was a town hall that was put together by the Black leadership, particularly in Toronto. And it's unfortunate because we had some really great discussion and some really great opportunities to talk to people about our ideas and how we can make life better for them. The reality is, life's gotten harder in the last 4 years with Doug Ford. Life has gotten harder for people, and what people are telling me is they want a premier that understands how how tough things have been, and puts their priorities first. Certainly those are the things I'm going to stay focused on, because that's what this campaign is about. This is a really important election. It's a campaign where there's a lot at stake for people in this province, and I'm going to focus on them.
Along the same line, will you be completely focused on Doug Ford? And do you think your other opponents will be as well, or will you be also trying to separate yourself from the other leaders that are attending that also?
Well, one of the things that I've not forgotten, and people tell me they haven't forgotten, is that a lot of the challenges that we're now facing, a lot of things that are broken in this province right now, didn't all start with Doug Ford. The Liberals had 15 years to address, for example, the school repair backlogs. They had a chance to make life easier for folks. They didn't. And so how can anybody trust them now? People tell me they can't trust them now to fix the very things that they broke. So absolutely, this campaign, this election is about putting you first, about putting people first, not Doug Ford's buddies, which is what the current or what the former premier was doing. That's just not the best way forward. The best way forward is to put people at the front of the agenda, make sure that the things that matter most to them are fixed, so that they can feel like they're on solid ground again, and that they can build a good life in this province.
Next question is a follow-up from Adina Ali from the Canadian Press.
Hey, Adina.
Hey. I just want to go back to the hydro bills.
Sure.
And energy consumption. So are you also promising to spend money to buy back Hydro One?
You know, we have real problems with the electricity system, and it was shameful that Kathleen Wynne and Stephen Del Duca's Liberals sold off Hydro One in the first place after promising that they wouldn't do so. It was an absolute travesty that they decided to do that. We are certainly going to work very hard to make sure that our energy system is one that not only is reliable, is also much more green, but is affordable. So there's a lot of work to do to fix what Liberals and Conservatives have broken, not only in the sell-off of Hydro One, but in the massive privatization that's happened in our electricity system.
Next question comes from Steve Paikin from TVO.
Hi, Steve.
You might need to unmute yourself, Steve. We're having a hard time hearing you. Steve? We might have to come back to you later, Steve. Did you want to try typing your question, Steve? Okay, it sounds like Steve is having some audio issues. Okay, so I will read out Steve's question when we have it.
Oh, is that
We're just waiting to see.
okay?
I think
okay.
that concludes the press conference. We'll turn it back to you, Andrea.
Okay, Steve, you can maybe give us a call if you want to set something up to get that question answered. But I really do want to just say to folks, this is an exciting. It is the largest, the biggest retrofit program that we've ever seen, because we are determined to help people get the bills down, to make life more affordable, while at the same time fighting the climate crisis. That's what young people want to see. That's what parents and grandparents want to do. Giving them the help to do that is exactly what they need. And so we're proud to be here in Durham riding with our candidate, with our other Durham area candidates, to tell folks that you can have a premier that works for you all the time. Thanks, everybody.